When I started out in photography, to say I was skint would be an understatement. Just for a bit of context, I had no job, I had no house, I was on social benefits, and I had no prospects. I'm very good at getting the best out of a small amount of money, and I do this in all walks of life, everything I do. Look, my watch, F91W. I could buy a fancier watch, but this one, for £10, tells me the time when I need to know it. I don't spend a penny more than I have to, because if I do, I might have to do work I don't want to do, and I'm a big believer in only doing what you like, and that comes with consequences. To get the most from your cheap camera gear, there's a real easy thing to do. Let's take a budget. Now, if I say £1,000 budget for your camera gear, you've got a certain way you can spend it. £1,000 for some people will be like, well, that's nothing. You can get like a good memory card. And for someone else, like, I'm never going to have £1,000. When I started out, I was never going to have £1,000. So I understand from both sides of the thing. I've been there, I've had less than nothing, and I now have an abundance of something. So I understand. But let me help you. Never, ever buy anything brand new. That's rule number one. You don't buy brand new kit. You don't ever buy brand new kit unless, one specific reason, a piece of equipment comes out that allows you to do a job, not do it faster, not do it, but allows you to do a job that you're being paid for. And it financially makes sense. That's the only time to buy new. Never buy new. Don't buy a new car. Don't buy a new camera. Don't buy a new bike. I've got a bicycle out back, bought it second hand. Got a car out front, bought it second hand. Buy it all used, that way you don't pay the depreciation. Also, if you've got £1,000 to spend, £1,000 on a second-hand camera body can get you something like a 5DSR 50 megapixel professional camera suitable for shooting the world's biggest ad campaigns and a 50mm lens from Sigma, or it can get you a brand new crop sensor bottom of the line camera. See the difference? Same with audio. You got some speakers you want to buy, £1,000, get something half decent at the shops, £1,000 second hand, you're going to get some pretty sexy speakers. You want to buy a bicycle? £1,000 in the shops gets you an entry-level bicycle, £1,000 second hand gets you a professional bicycle from 2010. That professional bicycle is better. Might not have the latest and greatest gadgets, but what's on it is better. Number two, if you're buying lenses, buy primes. At a point where you don't have much money, a prime is better than a zoom always. The image quality will be significantly better. Always, always, always. If you have lots of money to spend, you can buy a pretty darn good zoom. And as you know, my opinion on zooms has changed drastically. This is a zoom. I shoot my portraits on a zoom. They're great nowadays, but they're expensive. The zoom lens I shoot my portraits on is like £3,000. But for £200, get a banging 50mm lens. So when it comes to lighting, if you're on a tight budget and you need to get the most out of your gear, buy second hand. Don't buy brand new Godox, buy second hand Bowens from the 90s. It's the same thing. Flash tubes haven't changed that much over the years. For the price of the latest and greatest Godox, you can get second hand Broncolor. And second hand Broncolor from the 80s is better than the latest and greatest cheap of today. Buying used, and I know, buying used again, is really good. If you need to buy a tripod, don't buy a tripod brand new. That's ludicrous. It's metal sticks. Buy it second hand. You'll get better. My tripod here cost me £300. A brand new £300 tripod is like a tripod. This tripod that this camera's on is a top of the line tripod. It's just 30 years old, but guess what? 30 years ago, it still held a camera the same as a modern one does today. Always buy older pro kit or pro line kit over newer amateur kit. It's better. Always invest more on a light modifier than a light. Always invest more on a light than a lens. Always invest more on a lens than a camera body. The amount of idiots I see buying the latest and greatest camera going, oh, I'll grow into it with the lens. No. Start off cheap. Also, if you buy cheap and heavily devalued kit, you can sell it for what you bought it for. It can be a stopgap. It's very useful like that. This is how you get the most out of a tight budget as a photographer. Now, my final tip, and this is really important, and this is something I did very intentionally. Work out the brand that all of your mates are using. So when I started, Paul had Canon, Hits had Canon, Dave had Canon. Guess what brand I bought into? I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.